Hey everyone, it's me, Adam P, and today we're starting a very special series about Big Brother 22 All-Stars. Every single week I will be coming here and we're gonna spill and we're gonna have a spill session. I have been watching Big Brother 22 very diligently and taking lots of notes, and every Wednesday we're gonna gather around and we're gonna have a spill session, okay? And just see how everything's going. We're gonna have a vibe check, and also I'm going to give my rankings. I'm gonna tier list the girls and tell you how I feel about each house guest one by one. This is very loose, you know. I'm a little nervous but excited at the same time because I absolutely love Big Brother. Like, I've seen every single season. I've seen these people. I absolutely love Big Brother. I've seen these people on all of their seasons, and I know them from the show. Like, I got them down, baby. So this is was such an absolute dream. Absolute dream. When the rumors first started, I was like, I don't believe it. I really don't. But then it started swirling more and more and more and more. And I was like, wait, this is actually about to happen. And honestly, I think this is a good year to do an All-Stars cast, not hire new people for the Big Brother house. I think it was a good idea, honestly. So all these people I've seen before, and you can also check out my initial reaction to the season premiere as well, which was super exciting that they didn't even leak the cast to us until, well, it was leaked, but they didn't show us the cast until the actual premiere day, which I found interesting. And like I said in my video, that episode was interesting. It felt kind of BBOTT a little bit. Where it was live the whole time for 2 hours straight. But I was so excited to see this is actually happening. These characters in my head, all these characters I know, they're gonna be in a house together, and it's a dream come true, honestly. But overall vibe check of the week so far, I don't know. It is week 1. The overall vibe check for me, however, let's start with a vibe check. The vibe is kind of a little chill right now. The vibe overall, let's just go into the rankings. I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's just go into the rankings. So, okay. Vibe check, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Because this week hasn't been as super fast-paced and exciting as I thought. But these people are all-stars, and I feel like all-stars goes one or two ways. You either have heroes versus villains, where all of them go all out, do anything they can, cut everyone's throat, and that's what they did in Survivor, heroes versus villains. Or you kind of have Survivor winners at war, where everyone's like, I'm too scared to make a move, you know, and I don't want to cause any tension at all. And I think that's where we're at right now this week. But it's it is only week 1 and things get absolutely crazy later on. I'm just scared, though, that it's going to become one of those weeks where I'm just scared that it's going to become one of those seasons where it's just everyone's super nice to each other. Oh my gosh, I don't know who's going home. I don't know who's going home. I don't know who's going home. And then they go home. And they don't have that many hard feelings towards it. So I really hope for some power shift changes, even though it looks like everyone's starting to be on the same side. But I digress. And I really loved Sunday's episode too. I think it was really fun to see the DRs again, honestly. So, okay. So to save time, let's just go. I wrote so many notes. I'm like, there's no way I can just read off these notes. So I've decided, let's just go to my rankings on 1 through 16 on all these house guests. And this is ranking let me just be clear. I'm ranking these people based on how much I like them and how well I think they're doing in the house. It's a combination. because I feel like who I really like the most and who's playing the most, because I feel like the list of who's doing the best and the list of who is my favorites to least favorites to watch, those are very different. So I kind of molded it together into this ranking. And it's going to be interesting to see what you guys think. So I'll be ranking them, and I'll be talking about what they've been doing in the house to make me feel this way. Okay. Okay. Also, and honestly, I'm going to start at 16 and then work my way up to my favorite, just for anticipation and surprise. So, before we go into my first one, I want to make another thing clear. Crystal, I don't hate anyone right now. I don't. Some of the cast members, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch you again. Really? But so far, no one has annoyed me. No one has set me up. Well, no one has made me really dislike them. And I mean dislike. I mean like Big Brother 21 dislike, okay? We haven't gotten to that yet. We haven't. So, that is why. So, let's just go into number 16. Okay. The person I have at number 16 is the guy who's been playing the least Big Brother, and that is David. I'm sorry, David. He seems nice. He seems chill. He's a little boring. And, you know, I thought you're invited on All Stars. You're about to face, you know, people who's really played this game. You're facing a lot of people who made it to top 3, top 2, and even winners. And yet, it looks like he didn't really do his homework. Unfortunately. You had 2 weeks in sequester, and you could have just watched everything. Because he said something in the house like, oh, what's a unitard? You guys wear unitards? And it's like, do you know what show you're on? So, I don't know. I am glad that he's back. I am glad they gave him a second chance. He would have been something in Second Chances. You know, like kind of like what Survivor did. He would be perfect for that kind of season. But instead, they went with All Stars for him. And I am glad he's back because the way it went down from last season was actually really sad. Like, really, really sad. So, it's good that he's back and he has a second chance, but it's like, you knew you had a second chance. Why didn't you study up more? Honestly, why didn't a lot of these people study up more? Because some of them, the stuff they say, I'm like, do you not watch their season? Like, do you not know how they work? You know, it just feels like some of them are complete strangers to them. But I'm like, this is All Stars, baby. So, like, the first thing I wrote down with David is, like, Tyler came up to him, blowing smoke up his ass. Of course, Tyler. And he was just like, final 2, we're cool. And David's like, okay, cool. And I just noticed David never creates the alliance. He's more like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll go with it. You know, I just think, I don't know what his strategy is either. I guess his strategy is to lay low, but it's like, you are in last place. You are laying low, but I mean, it's like you have by far the least experience. You are kind of laying low right now. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's too bad, and they think and then people are starting to catch on pretty quickly that David is being close with Tyler, being close with Cody. I know Bailey and Daly were talking about that, and he's kind of like, it looks like he's kind of on his own, but I think he's more with the side of Tyler and Cody, and even with Enzo and Danny. It's just, he just doesn't talk game, like, at all. Like, the only time I see him talk game, really, is with Cody and Tyler. I guess with Bailey and Daly, too. No! Bailey and Davon. I can't do her like that. And he does have some interesting parts, too. Like, I watched on the feeds that him and Davon were talking about his season and how, you know, bad it went. And they talked about the Black Lives Matter movement and how it sounded like one of his Big Brother 21 castmates is, like, was against it, and like they were too scared to post about it on Instagram, which is like, girl, and we all kind of know who he's talking about, okay? It's just like, oh my God, like, that reminded me, okay, like, I'm actually glad he has a second chance, you know? Like, he's not with a bunch of insane, like, horrendous people. Like, at least we have that, you know? At least we have people who know this game, and, you know, even though we're not getting a bunch of game talk, and it's very foo-foo BS, at least we're getting game talk. At least it's not just people chilling, having sex with each other on a stool in a shower, and then absolutely alienating and belittling people who are a little different from them. At least we don't have that right now. He's not really on everyone's radar except Janelle. Janelle is watching out for him because Janelle's saying, you know, he's the most unpredictable. We don't know how his gameplay is at all. And honestly, David doesn't know how his gameplay is at all. I don't know. I kind of just want to see him on the block just to see how it works. But I feel like he would be way too passive. He seems so passive. And I just want to see him have more fire and drive. Maybe if he makes it far, if he makes it really far and gets nominated, maybe we can see him start to really... That's sad to say, but maybe we'll start to see him like shake and shimmy his way out. And he like... and then there was also a moment too where like Cody and David were talking, and then Cody accidentally called him Kevin and like kept repeating that you're called Kevin. They're like, oh yeah, people say I really like Kevin. And David's like, David. And they're like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oopsie. And also, like, I think, like, his main concern right now is, like, he just does not want to be on the wrong side of anything. I think he just wants to camouflage as much as possible. I think that's the reason why he didn't use that VIP pass. Because even though his worst fear is going in last place, again, he just wants to make zero waves. Zero at all. And I feel like, you know, you do have GOAT potential. You do. Because if you keep this up and you make it to the final two, that is $450,000 right in my pocket. And then he even admits to Tyler, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Am I doing good? And Tyler's like, oh, you're so good. You're so good. You're amazing. But like, of course, I don't know. Like, we'll get to Tyler, but it's just like, guys, this is Tyler. He's gonna say a bunch of hoo-ha to you and then stab you in the back, but it feels like a lot of people aren't really caring about that because there's other huge iconic players in there. But I thought if Tyler ever goes into another Big Brother season, I think immediately like he's in trouble, but he hasn't been. But we'll get to him. Kevin, and he kind of has Kevin too. Like he's cool with Kevin. He's just very in the middle, and I think maybe he has floater potential. I don't think he realizes he is a floater right now. But I don't know, because he has Kevin, but then also Cody and Tyler are really close with him too. I think he has them more than Kevin. At number 15, we have Christmas. Now, that's very nice of me. That's very generous. I thought she was a lock for 16th place because she was an absolute nut in 19, just like everyone else on that cast, but like she was so toxic and mean and crazy. And I'm also a little bit surprised that she's on this season because she has an arrest under her belt. She has some anger issues, but she is a mother now. I think that probably changed a lot about her. Maybe she's way more calm about it. And she's just been kind of chilling. She's been chilling. But she is more like, she definitely has a side. And that's with the pretty people. That's with the cool kids. Which is like Cody and Tyler. You know, like the athletic side, of course. And someone has mentioned before, she likes working with guys. And she really does. She works with a lot of guys. She won $5,000 too already. Which... maybe that but that's such a whatever excuse, and that happened like the first 90 minutes of the game. But, you know, I'm sure that will be brought up when she's in trouble. And I had to watch on the feeds too. Nicole and Christmas had a moment where they were starting to connect, and Christmas, and I mean, Nicole was like, you know, when I'm with allies, I really stick with them. I'm very loyal. Hint, hint, plant seed to Christmas. I could see that happening, but the trouble is, Christmas is a woman. And Nicole doesn't really vibe with working and supporting women. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But she has been approached by Memphis. But she's been approached by Memphis with this whole Unusual Suspects Alliance, which is a group of 6 people. He's seeking Christmas. And she's been approached, and she's just like, okay, cool, yeah. All right, fine, cool, we're out. Christmas, she said too that she wants a Tyler and Bailey final 3, which I'm like, I don't know where that came from, but okay, sure, we'll go with that. But I don't think she would want that. Especially with Tyler, I don't think she would want that, because I feel like Tyler is doing better in the alliances that they are in together than she is. But again, she said that like day 5. We have to keep in mind, this is the tip of the iceberg, ladies. Janelle feels out Christmas, but she's, and then I know one point Janelle was trying to feel out Christmas, like, okay, who are you voting for? Who are you voting for between Keisha and Kevin? Oh yeah, I should make it clear. I should have made this clear. Cody won HOH. He was gonna put Janelle and Kaser. They got the VIP suite safe, and they felt, and that was iconic. That was like iconic that they like felt it out immediately, and how they showed that Cody was just looking up in the air, like lying, you know, and they just knew immediately that they were in trouble. Like, Cody didn't even do a remotely good job at trying to hide the fact that they were gonna go on the block. So they were safe, and then he ended up doing Keisha and Kevin because he doesn't really talk to them that much. But then Kevin, right beforehand, was like, had this very vulnerable moment where he's like, hey, I don't connect. It's very hard for me to connect with people, and I'm really sorry if I seem like very distant and stuff. And Cody felt really bad about it, but then he's like, no, I'll put the gay on the block still. It doesn't matter. And then the veto happens, and it's the one where you stack duckies and you stack items as high as you can, and then you got to time in, but also there's a timer you got to keep watching out for. You got to run back and forth. And that happened in 21, they did it too. And that, oh, yeah. Yep, I just got a war flashback. That was the veto that Kemi needed to win, or else she was out. And yeah. Anyways, and then Enzo ends up winning the veto, and Kevin picked Enzo, which is kind of like showing he has nobody. Enzo was very like, of course I'm not going to use it, you know. And so he ends up not using a veto. It's down to Keisha and Kevin for the noms. Kevin is really scared, really nervous, and he's been talking way more than Keisha to people. And Keisha is more like, am I cool? Am I cool? And we'll get to Keisha, but right now, as of Wednesday, it's looking like Keisha's out the door. It is. The longer it goes, the more I'm like, yeah, yep, she's goner. So that was the week so far. So sorry I didn't recap, but I feel like we're the stands, so the stands know what's up. So yeah, I thought the 6 would be Memphis, Tyler, Cody, Nicobra. By the way, I'm calling Nicole Franzel Nicobra. It's just a cute name. Danny and Christmas, but not Enzo. Not Enzo. But I feel like Enzo, he's fine though. He has a core 4, you know. I think he's fine. And he's very charismatic. So that is Christmas. Christmas is at number 15 for me. Number 14, speaking of Nicobra, she is at number 14 for me. And may I remind you, this is a combination of how I am enjoying them and watching them and how they are doing in the game. Nicobra is doing very good in the game. I feel like she has lots of allies. She's positioned herself well. She's being a rat. So, you know, her first idea was, okay, Cody, you and me, let's just make a girls' lines, guys' lines. We'll rat for 85 days. And they're like, fine, cool. But she is, she's a little polarizing, I guess I will say. And I guess she's very emotional this week. Maybe that counts into it, but she's just going through it. So Nakobra, she is gravitating a lot towards Danny, which is good. And on day 2, Nakobra was like, I like Keisha. But later on, she's like, I like both of the nominees. And you hear that. Oh, you heard that all week. All week. They were like, I like both nominees. I like both nominees. But she ended up being like, I like Kevin personally more. I'd be more sad to see Kevin go. And then Nakobra says, yep, she'll make a girl alliance. And then she gets really mad at Janelle and Kaser for realizing that they are in trouble. Sorry that Cody was not good at lying. And she has a really big vendetta over Janelle. Like, she has cried over Janelle. And it's kind of like, girl. But I guess Nakobra, it was saying how Janelle is the one who's been starting rumors about her saying that she was begging to be on the show and how she got Derek in trouble and how she's not in it. And yeah, Janelle even said to like, oh, I know that her and Cody are working closely together, but I wonder if he realizes Nakobra is the reason why Derek's not on the season. So the pre-game drama has leaked into it. I'm a little surprised that the feeds kind of allowed us to see it, you know. But she's so shaking in her boots over Janelle. And it's like, calm down. And even like yesterday, Danny had a moment with Nicole where she as nice as possible, was like, you need to cool it, baby. We have the numbers. We are fine. No one has been targeting you. If you keep it up, everyone's gonna target you. So shut the fuck up. And also, like, and in the beginning of the week, she was just like, she just plays it up a little too much. Like, because she was like, in the beginning of the week was like, oh, I'm so worried about Cody. Like, I think he's going to put me up. Like, I'm so in trouble. And some people were just like, shut up. You're the safest one. Shut up. Don't even, like, play it like that. Because everybody has clocked that they are together. Everyone. Mainly, the main force of that was Janelle being like, come on. Boo. Let's not play games. But, you know, the way Nakobra is playing, it's kind of like, I kind of see the writing on the wall being written again for her, where she's gonna stab Davon in the back quickly, and then Cody will stab Nakobra in the back, for sure. Davon tells Nakobra there's a big alliance going on. Nakobra's like, uh-oh. But they kind of want Davon and Bailey in it together just solely for the numbers. And I feel like they're just so expendable to this big alliance, like the Unusual Suspects. I feel like the moment Davon and Bailey aren't benefiting them, they're just going to cut them off quickly. Which is really sad, but, you know, it's week 1, whatever. Yeah, and like day 4, she's so nervous about being nominated. Like, shut up, dude. And then Nakobra and Danny made it clear they're very shook by Janelle being there. But it's like, guys, like, did you not see 14? She got kicked out like pre-jury. Like, come on, like, let's just cool it. Janelle's done nothing. It's just so sad to see everyone being repulsed by Janelle and Kaser, because it's like someone has made, like, a lot of people have made good points that's like, did you guys not realize, like, Janelle and Kaser are very loyal to their allies. They're extremely loyal. So I don't know why you just think automatically they're a comp beast and they're going to cut everyone. Just be their ally. It would be best to be their ally, because then if they win all these comps, you're good. And yeah, and then David called, like, Kaser a comp beast, and it's like, he won one competition against one other person. Like, let's not do that. But, you know, David is trying to make it look like he knows what he's doing. But Nicole was like, oh, and then there was, like, this cute little drama where Cobra was like, to Nicole, was like, oh, sorry I didn't go on your podcast. I know your co-host hates me. And, like, I guess Nicole Anthony really didn't take that very well at all. Where you know, she was just like, why didn't you just talk about this to me when the feeds were down? Why did you just bring it up like that in front of a whole group? You know, she just put it on very casually. But I don't know. I was a little surprised how personal Nicole A took it. But, you know, it's her BFF. It's her co-host. And yeah, Nicole Bra, I think she does have some, she's not the best with social cues. She's not. And I just feel like some people look at her as a lost puppy, but it's like, you won the game. You won the game. Come on. Get it together. Now you're kind of showing why. Because she's like, I want to prove that I did deserve my win. But now you're just flailing around, you know, just being so paranoid that it's like, you're not really proving yourself as a great player right now. But hey, if she's won, she's won. She has won. And Janelle made there was a funny video I saw about Janelle, and I kind of agreed, where Nicobra will just literally lay in bed for 9 weeks, and then in 1 week 9, she's like, oh, wait, are we nominated? Huh? What's going on? Like, that's kind of what she did in 18. So it worked in her favor. She has $500,000 because of Devon. But, and Janelle, but yeah, she's made it clear that she's very scared of Janelle. But Janelle and Kaser, like, knows that very quickly. So they're like, we literally can't say, like, anything to her. I've seen them talk in big groups, though, and they've been acting very natural. There hasn't been drama. But it's also like, Nicobra, I want exciting feeds. Why don't you just go up to Janelle and confront everything? Confront the pregame stuff. Confront about this week. Please, just do it. Just give us excitement. Maybe if she wins HOH, and no, I don't even think if she wins HOH and nominates Janelle and Kaser, she would be 100 with them. I think Janelle needs, or Kaser needs, the power in order for all of this to be brought up. Keep it 100 between them. Nicobra assures that and Nicobra is keeping Devon, like, she's like, no, we're close, we're good. And I love, that was like one of my favorite moments of the whole episode, was when immediately Nicobra was like thanking Devon for the first time in 2-3 years for making her win, and like, you changed my life so much, blah, 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 blah. And then Devon like looked right at the camera shadily, and she always... Oh, she's so entertaining. We'll get to Devon. And backed off and being banging it. So, yeah. So then the Nicobra is kind of stuck on this unusual suspect. She's, like, so positioned well, and yet she's the one flailing around. Like, this energy needs to go to Keisha, okay? And basically... but Nicobra is like, I have nothing against girls. It's just I won't play with them. Whoops. And then Nicobra said, I don't want people to know that I'm scared of Janelle. That's a little too late. That's actually extremely too late. But she is just very, I don't know, she's so paranoid and so worried. But she has a lot of allies. I think her and Devon, even though Devon smells the BS, I think they could still work together. And she has Ian, and Ian's kind of out there, and she's made a final 2 with them. You know, they're the only 2 winners, so I think she's positioning herself well. It's just she may wear on the house guests and be like, listen, you're just too annoying to live with. So at number 13, who I think is definitely doing the worst in the house, unfortunately, is my girl, Keisha. Oh, Keisha, girl. She was so amazing on Big Brother 10, because Big Brother 10 is such, like, a novel. Like, it's such, like, a great beginning, middle, ending. And she was part of something amazing. It's just Keisha now is just... She doesn't know how to react to being nominated week 1 by someone she barely knows. She really thought, let's just stay under the radar, and it has been working too hot for her. And it looked like she was going to get the OGs, but now the OGs are starting to not get the power, and now Memphis is kind of like, bye girl, and she thought she had Memphis, and unfortunately, Keisha has been floundering very much. But people are like, so... Okay, so here's the main concern with Keisha, though. Here's the main concern. She's nominated, and then she lost the veto, and she's still on the block, and yet she is so bad at game talk. Like Janelle said, she's really bad at campaigning, and I agree. She will just be like, oh, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And then everyone has said the same exact script, the same exact lines to her, which is, I haven't heard anything. I don't hear anything either way. I know people like you, but no one has talked game to me. Everyone has said that to her. And then with Kevin, they're like, you're cool, you're cute, I think you're safe, we got you. But it's like, Keisha, if you hear the same exact response, the alarm bell should be going off. If no one's giving you a straight answer, that means you're in trouble. So, it's just, maybe she just can't, and maybe she just can't click with these people too. I think she's the oldest. Oh my God. The oldest one is about to be voted. Ugh, God damn it. I am excited though that these people are older than 24. I am. That is a really exciting thing too. I think that's what this show needed. We needed people that were a little bit more mature and not psychotic. So, I digress. Keisha, it's looking bad, girl. And she's just... She cried when she got nominated. I would have cried if I got nominated too on week 1 in All Stars. Because he just had no reason. He was just like, I don't really talk to her. So, put her up. And she has not dealt with it well at all. I don't know. The issue is too, she feels like she has a lot of allies. She does not have a lot of allies. She has, Janelle, honestly, has been campaigning harder than Keisha. I know yesterday, Janelle was trying to talk to Nicole A., trying to get in there and seeing all the votes on how Keisha can stay. And there are votes, but it's the 7 she pointed out, it's like, no. She said Memphis. I unfortunately think not. And I thought Nicole, we'll get to Nicole, but yeah, Keisha ain't doing well. She thinks she has the votes, but really she doesn't. And she kind of gets concerned too. She's kind of like, I think I'm in trouble, Janelle. Janelle's just like, oh, it's fine. No one's made up their mind. No, they've made up their mind. But it's been so, I do think it was genuinely, I think though, and it's more her fault too, because I think it was a toss-up initially with the nods, where people were like, I really don't know who I want to keep. I think Kevin has been doing better at campaigning, even though it hasn't been too hot, but he's been better at, please keep me safe, I'll return the favor. While Keisha's more like, am I good? Am I good? I think everyone said I'm safe, but no one has told you were safe. Everyone's just like, oh, I don't know. How can it be? Okay, well, I'll give this to her. There hasn't been a whole lot of exciting game talk. And sometimes game talk's few and far in between in the feeds, but there is game talk. So when people are saying, oh, no one's talked to me, no one's talked game to me, and you got that multiple times, come on. But she is more of a personality. I think she just, in 10, she was strategic, but it's just more, she got along, she vibed way better, She had a vibe way better with the cast, and she had power, and it worked out well for her, except for, not being in a core alliance. But anyway, at the end. But, so, and they also are waiting to, even though it looks like Keisha has nobody, people do see her with the OGs. They see her with Janelle. They see her with Kaser. So they're like, okay, she's a number for them. So that other side of the house, like the unusual suspects, the core 4, they're like, okay, well, we have a better chance with Kevin working with us. So because Kevin's so like out there, nobody. And he kind of proved that when he chose Enzo for the veto. So they're kind of like, okay, well, Keisha has a number. And so let's just get rid of her. I think everyone has accepted her fate. And even Janelle went up to Casey and was like, hey, let's try and keep, I think there's a way for us to keep Keisha. And Casey's like, whatever, it's week 1. Let's just lose her. Whatever. But it's like, Casey, you have nobody. You have no one except for Janelle. I'm just going to let you know that right now. And I don't know, I really thought Memphis was going to really fight hard for Keisha, but instead Memphis was like, I'm hanging with the cool kids. Sorry, bitch. She just doesn't run around everywhere. But she's made it clear to some people, if you keep me, I'm putting up the guys. So that's interesting for the... If only there was a girls' alliance that would probably help her out with that pitch. But there is none, and it's not helping with her pitch at all. But it did for my... I did think for a hot second, okay, maybe Janelle can sway and really gag the girls and keep Keisha. Honestly, I would rather have Keisha stay because Cody and Nicobra would be so gagged, and it's like not what they want. I want them to disobey the HOH's request, but it's not coming around, and it's so sad because I think it's just mainly because Janelle and Kaser wants to keep Keisha, so nobody's going to keep Keisha, unfortunately. I think it's looking unanimous. I think it is. Because I think Janelle and Kaser, they will... Because even Kaser gave up, like I said. So I think Janelle and Kaser will just be like, okay, whatever. Fine. Vote to evict Keisha. My number 12... Oh my God, we're only at number 12. But see, I've been talking about everyone, so I think it's going to go quicker and quicker. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been talking to a lot of different... Because I've been doing a summary. You know what I'm saying. We're going to go fast with it. Number 12 is Memphis. I do like the way he's scheming a lot, but it kind of sucks how he immediately was like, don't care about Keisha. And then when Kaser had that conversation with Memphis in the morning, it was clear that Memphis was like, nope, I'm good. And he immediately ratted out all that info about Kaser to Kaser's mortal enemy at the moment, which is Cody. And he has had 2 morning talks with Cody. He's trying very hard to be with Cody. Hey, I'm a bro too. I'm a bro. I'm a cool kid. And you have power. So please keep me here. And Cody's like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do this. And I think it was yesterday, he's been scheming. He's been trying to go to people one by one, being like, oh, you're the first one I'm pointing this out to, but what about an alliance of 6 people? And you weren't in it. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, he did that to Tyler. He did that to Christmas. But I think people are starting to clock him. I think that core group, the Unusual Suspects, even though he's been like the main wrangler, I can see him get the boot first out of those 6 because he kind of wiggled and weighed himself into a group that was already in. But it's good to see, like, I think it's bad for him kind of, but good for them that he thinks that he created this alliance. So he's kind of oblivious to the fact that they're all closer with everyone in that group that Memphis created, you know? And I did see too, like, he talked to Danny, because Danny and Nicobra, are very close, and when he said, let's bring in Bailey, let's bring in Bailey on the group of 6, and then Danny went, oh, you have to put in Dave on them because they're super tight-knit, which it is true, but it's a little boring. Like, come on. You don't have to automatically think that they're going to be, like, together forever. Maybe Bailey can't. Well, I don't know. Bailey can shut her mouth on some things, but it's All Stars. Maybe she has learned her lesson. So then he went, well, okay, let's do Nicole. And Danny's like, Nicole, yep, Nicole, bro, yep, definitely. So he's doing fine. I like that he's playing. I'm really sad that he's not with Kate, because if you guys really could bring it together, I can see it happening, but it's not happening. Like, I could see OGs and outsiders, like Kevin, Ian, even David, and Nicole A. If they actually was like, okay, let's work with Janelle and Kaser, and Keisha, and Memphis, boom, you have a core group, and you could easily, it could be more 2 sides. And it's starting to look like it was 2 sides, but as the time gone on and on and on, it's 2 sides. It's just everybody, Kaser and Janelle. It's really sad to watch. It's kind of clear you guys didn't watch 6 or 7. It's a little evident. And if you knew All Stars was coming and you knew some kind of like rumors and you knew like Janelle was gonna be on it, you should have done your homework. I don't know. But maybe I heard that they get $40,000 for the entrance fee. You know, like that's like everyone gets 40,000 just to be on the show. So maybe some of them were just like, hey, I'm just here for the money, whatever. Next at number 11 is Bailey. Now Bailey, last season, she kind of got on my nerves. She kind of got a little selfish. She got a little, I don't know, mean. And she made a really horrible mistake by telling an extremely important secret to the other side of the house. And but she was going through a lot. She was going through something very personal. I don't know. Yeah, but she was going through something very, very bad. And I think maybe that did shift her. Okay, she got pregnant and it was a miscarriage. And there's no way that could not affect you in the game. Like, that would make me not want to talk to anybody. Like, anybody. So, I think this is going to be... She's been doing so much better. I actually really enjoy her. She is really good with talking to people. She makes it... Well, she overtalks sometimes, but she likes getting involved in conversation. I feel like she really listens. She's playing it very cool. The only time I see her like do a lot of game talk is with Dave Vaughn. And I think that's good though. I think for week 1, it's good to just be a little under the radar, very nice with people. No one has brought up her name. And she has like her girl, Dave Vaughn. And on top of it, she really likes Janelle, she said yesterday. So she is a potential ally for Janelle and I'm here for it. Any allies, Janelle, you're staying. I want you here, okay? So, at number 10 on our list, I have Cody. Now, I want to be clear. I think Cody is doing absolutely amazing. I think he's in a really great spot in the game. But I think there's just more people I like watching on the feeds than him. He's kind of... not the most exciting for me personally. It's just he's always on the feeds like fuck, and then like his like stories are kind of like whatever to me. And I get he does have a core group. I don't see him talk with a lot of people, but he has his core group, and I feel like you should it's I think it's starting to become more prevalent that who he's working with. And I don't think it's gonna become like a level 6 thing where all the players are just so oblivious to one alliance dominating. But he's still doing very well for himself. He put up 2 people that he didn't know at all, and he also put up 2 people that no one really has very close ties to. So I think that was smart of him. And right now it looks like Kaser is Cody's mortal enemy, because I feel like it just had a wrong, it went off to a rocky start. Because Kaser knew the bullshit Cody was dishing, and Kaser kind of is a little condescending, and he's trying to really act cool with Cody, but Cody's kind of like, you know, I'm sensing that you don't dig me. And yeah, but he does seem nice. He's very, very fine still. He hasn't aged at all, I feel like, in the last 6 years. But he is nice, and he's very... I think, honestly, though, he is kind of like my pick for the winner right now. Because he's very nice. He has a core group of an alliance. He can do well in competitions. Mental... I don't know. He needs someone that does well in mental. Maybe Nicole, bruh. But really, has getting HOH helped him? I think it has. It's been more to his his benefit, because a lot of people come up to him and be like, let's work together, let's work together. Hello, Kevin went up to him after being nominated, and Kevin was like, let's work together. And Cody's like, yeah, totally. But that did help Kevin a little bit, because now Cody is telling people, I'd rather have Kevin stay than Keisha, because Keisha literally, no game talk. No game talk, Keisha and Cody, no way. And he has a rat. He has a few rats, like, that automatically drew to him. He has Danny, he has Memphis, he has Nicobra. All rats right now. So he, he doesn't have to rat. He kind of just sits there and gets all the info. But you never know, because he should leak info to other people. But he's not the one going around all over the house talking to people, because everyone knows he's HOH. So it's like a little scurry. But everyone has clocked that he's with Nicobra. Everyone. And I feel like if you really put two and two together, think about how Cody has played before. He's in a big group. You have to realize that. He's in a big group with a bunch of other people who are like him. Younger, prettier, whiter. And he is going to be super... He has layers, like they've said. Kind of like the Bomb Squad. But his main number one, I think, is Nicobra, I want to say. Danny's making her way. She wants to wiggle in to be the number one. We'll get to Danny, but he has been getting a lot of people to just spill info to him. I think he was just mad that they were like, I don't know, but that was a big mistake. That was a pretty obvious mistake from Cody being like, oh yeah, like, I'm giving you, like, boring scripted answers about if I'm putting you up or not, Kaiser and Janelle. And they were like, okay. Like, that was a pretty big problem. He didn't win the veto. I think he kind of didn't want to. Well, I think he did want to win, because he, no matter what, wanted to keep the nominations the same. Like, he really... And I'm very glad he kept the nominations the same, because he was thinking about putting up Ian or Nicole A. And I would rather have Kevin or Keisha go. I would rather have that. I'd rather be dry, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me. And he's kind of like, everyone's going to him with info, and he's just like saying his viewpoint, and it's gelling well. I'm really, I'm excited to see him be not HOH, but I feel like he has his group. He has his group, plural. And he's just doing well. And I wish, though, Kevin, when he was nominated on the episode, he's like, I'm going after Cody. But now he's like, let's work together, Cody. I'm going to put up Janelle and Kaiser. Okay. All right, Kevin. Let's just talk. Let's talk to Kevin right now. So number 9 is Kevin for me. I was elated. I was so excited to see that he's on the All-Stars cast. He was my favorite house guest in Big Brother 11, period, hands down. He's charismatic. You really want to root for the guy, because he does have an underdog appeal to him. He did he did lie and cause drama and got, like, Russell and Jeff out, and Russell? Who's the angry hot dude? I think his name was Russell. But and it was cute when he was like, oh my God, I'm lying. Look at me go. Like, he is very fun. But Kevin's, like, game, like, the reason why he's at 9 is because I really like him. But he's at 9 because his gameplay is a little, I don't know. He really doesn't have a lot of allies. However, yesterday he was talking with Nicole A and Ian, being like, we can really work together, and I can see them be a tight-knit group. But as long as none of them go home early, if those 3 make it, like, jury, they could really, really work well together. They could. They really could. But sadly, they're all kind of anti-Janelle right now. So, I don't know. That's the other thing, too. Like, just work with Janelle. Is it that hard? Is it that much to ask? Is it? I think it is. Kevin... I love that moment with him where he was like, I really am nervous. I don't gel well with people who are different than me. I get very nervous, and he got a little bit of sympathy there, and he's just so adorable to watch, though. I really do like him. And he's been trying harder than Keisha. I'm not saying he's the best at campaigning. He's better than Keisha at campaigning, I'll tell you that. But Janelle made a good point that Kevin is a flip-flopper. He's a floater. He definitely, I can see it. He's just going to shift to whatever power is, he's going to shift to whoever is in power. And I think it's working for him for week 1. Is it going to work for him in week 5 or 6? I don't know. Because, you know, he's kissing up to the right people. He's making deals saying, I will do you the favor back. And I think, I mean, he's also lucky, too, that Keisha's not doing anything. Because Keisha is literally just like, am I safe? And everyone's like, I don't know. And she's like, okay. But, I mean, I think she is starting to feel the writing on the wall. I think she is. And maybe today or Thursday, people are going to actually be like, okay, look. It's going to be you. But maybe they'll pull a BB-20 where they're just like, oh, y'all, you're totally cool, you're totally cool, you're totally cool, you're totally cool, out. Well, BB-20 was more like, you're not going home, no way! But I think Kevin has definitely secured the votes. But maybe Kevin will say something a little outlandish. Maybe he'll... maybe it is best that he says that he's targeting Case and Janelle. But I really hope if he gets HOH next week, put up Cody. Please. 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 And he's very nice. He's very fun to watch. Like last night, you know, they're doing the have-not feast where he finally gets to eat, and they were dancing around, you know, with the little cat ears, and it's just cute that they can be themselves, you know. But he's getting tight with Nicole and Ian, and I think he's just like, hey Cody, I'll be your soldier. And unfortunately, I can see him leave pre-jury, but nonetheless, I really like Kevin. Number 8 is Enzo. I don't see, this is the part where these are people I really, 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 really like. Enzo, so charismatic, so fun to be around. He's really smart, I feel like, but the thing is, he's making a core 4. People should notice he is a brigade member. Loyalty, period, to a T. To a T. So I feel like if you didn't do any game talk and didn't make a set alliance with Enzo, baby, you should know he has a different group, you know? So he is tight-knit with the core 4, which is Enzo, Danny, who they're OGs, but they're trying to be like, we're cool, we're new, and with Cody and Nicobra. Those 4 are very tight. However, I haven't seen them really talk a whole lot of game. And he also kind of has shaded Nicobra before. But I think he was just doing that in front of Janelle just to be cool. And he is a good player, though. I could see Enzo winning because he's so likable. He won a veto. You know, he's on par from what he was like last time he was on Big Brother. So I can see him just be, if Core 4 does well, if it doesn't break, because, I mean, I'm really kind of interested to see how Enzo deals with a tight-knit alliance breaking. I would like to see that. But if this Core 4 is going to do well, Enzo's going to do really great. But he might get Enzo'd. He might get Enzo'd where he goes so far, and then they're like, oh, crap. Everyone really likes Enzo. He needs to find a way to make a point that people in the jury don't like me. He needs to have, if he makes it that far, he needs to have a really good argument on, you know, or if he could even be like, I haven't done a lot, you know. I don't know. He needs to find a way to, like, show that, like, he's not that big of an enemy. I'm sad, though, that he's not in, like, the main 6, but I think that shows, though, like, they'll cut off Memphis before Enzo, I think. Cody, Nicobra, and Danny, I think so. Tyler, I don't know. I think, we'll get to Tyler, but Enzo did say, "I'm here to play. You will see blood on me." We love to see it. We do. But he's been very tight. He's getting along with everyone very well, and he's in a good position. He is. It's just he's kind of in the same kind of position he was in 12, and it got him far. But you know, the threat jumped. We saw the threat in him, and they cut him off. I mean, if he wins a lot of vetoes, it's going to be even more showing of a threat. Number 7, I hate to say it, but number 7, I have Nicole Anthony. Obviously, my favorite house guest last season. America, the internet, we all rooted for her. I have never seen people stand the girl down, honey, because she was she was the light. Her aura was the only light energy in that entire house that just carried our way through to the end. So she's really fun. She's really comfortable being herself, I feel like. I kind of had a good feeling for her at the beginning because I saw her listening to a lot of different people, but that's the thing. She was listening to them. She wasn't asking questions from on game, and she wasn't really fishing for info, and she wasn't really giving a lot of info. But unfortunately, in the last few days, she's really disappointed me. She had a really shit read on the house where she's like, all these people are working together, and Ian is part of the big group, but they're going to cut him off immediately. Baby, you should just be real with Ian. You have a good vibe with Ian. You should be really real with him. So it's really sad, and it looked like the worst part of it all for me is it looked like she was really cool with Janelle. It looked like she was gonna be the general, the admiral for Kaser and Janelle. But yesterday, she started leaking info. She started ratting. And because Janelle the other day said, I think yesterday she said, Kevin's a threat. You know, he got Jeff out with a lie. And Nicole went, scoot, and told Kevin that. And Kevin's now upset. And Kevin, you know, it was in that, you know. So it's just it's right there. Nicole on a platter. You had a better chance at being in that kind of group, and then you just swiped it off. So it's so sad. At least pretend you're more cool with them, you know? It was so disappointing because if you're not clearly you're not going to be with the Cody group. You haven't talked to them really. They haven't talked to you a whole lot. But you should just look at the people who's been talking the game the most to me. Who's been doing that? Let me stick with them for now. But she's just been dismissing it. It's whoa, I want you to go far. But she kind of reminds me of Nokomis a little bit. Nokomis was more, a strategic genius. But I can see Nicole get an early boot, pre-jury. I really can see it. If she's not benefiting anyone, and if the only people she's benefiting are people who have no power, I can see it very sadly. Very, very sadly. So, Nicole, and someone tweeted this. I think it was Hamster Watch, Goddess, Dingo. She was like, Nicole, instead of talking to the camera, why don't you start talking to the house guest, sweetheart? So we will see with Nicole. And if you're gonna make enemy with Nicobra and make an enemy with Janelle, it's girl, come on, pick one side. You don't have to always be on the outskirts. You don't always have to be that odd one out, okay? You gotta offer people things. You gotta really exchange info. She's good with talking to people. She's good with listening and personal. But the game's starting to roll, and I think you're getting left behind, sweetheart. I'm really sorry. Because of your choices, though. That's the thing. It's the choices you're doing. I'm sorry. I don't need to lecture you, Nicole. It's just... we love you so much. We want nothing but the best for you. If you could win this game, I would be so happy. It seems like you're not taking the offers that are on the table for you. It's okay. Number 6 is Ian. I have a very soft spot for Ian. I think America has a soft spot for Ian. He has such a good aura and spirit about him that it's like, I don't want anyone to do anything bad to him. I don't. If anyone makes fun of him, I'm gonna get your ass, okay? He is so nice, but he's so out there, I feel like. He's so, like, question mark. David's out there too, but, like, he kind of has an alliance with Nicole A. and Kevin. That's being molded and formed. He really likes Kevin. He's gonna give Kevin his vote. See, that's the issue. That's the issue when Janelle was like, okay, we can keep Keisha if we get an Ian, Nicole to vote. But it's like, no, I think they're with Kevin. That he's been vibing with them more. He is also a potential, though, for Janelle being an ally because, you know, they're both on 14. They bonded about that. So I'm not sure with Ian. I think if he can lay under the radar a little bit more and more and more and more, because he has been very in the background. No one's, well, the issue is people are like, he's super smart. He's won before. So they still, even though he's trying to lay low, kind of like Janelle and Kaser, people are finding him a threat immediately. But he's so sweet, so nice. And I love that he's been talking about being on the spectrum of autism. It's something that is, like, I'm really happy for him for being comfortable enough to talk about it. And it shows that, you know, no matter where you are on that spectrum, you can do successful things. You know, that's not a detriment. It's just your brain works differently. So I'm really happy that he's back on the show. I really am. Well, I want to see some game in him, but, you know, he's keeping it cool. And he's 6 because I really like him, but he's 6 because he hasn't wedged his way into, like, a tight-knit, loyal group yet. Coming at number 5 is Kaser. He would be higher if, you know, everyone wasn't turning on him immediately. And he did play a little too hard. He was starting to play a little bit much. But, you know, I kind of don't blame the guy. Because I think he has noticed that he's on the outs. Janelle's like, you know, dude, calm down. We got to lay low. But, like, Janelle, dude, you're Janelle and you're Kaser. You're enemies in this house. So I think I don't blame him at all for trying to play a lot of game. And I think he was doing well at first. He was doing a lot of personal things. I watched on the feeds that he was opening about being Middle Eastern in America. And he was talking about the current events going on. And I liked his point being like, you know, we're shouting because no one listened to us this whole time. You know, he's very smart, and I like listening to his viewpoint, but no one wants to work with you. And it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword that they did that VIP safety. Would you guys have been nominated? Absolutely. But now, the target, it's immense. It's immense. And if I'm being honest, he is my pick for HOH. I really want him to win HOH. Of course I would want Janelle to win, but someone made a point on Puya from the Rob Has a Podcast. He made a good point saying if Janelle wins HOH, that's kind of like everyone's assumptions come true about her, that she's a comp beast, that she is a threat, that you guys should be very scared of her. So Kaser takes it, Janelle will be safe, and the whole target will be more shifted towards him. Sorry, Kaser. But he's been very fun. He, in his diary rooms, he's kind of playing up that he's going to be the evil mastermind. And I hope that works. And you know what? I have faith in him because if he's on the block and in trouble, he's going to try his best. He is going to give us game on the feeds, which I'm excited for because, like I said, it's a little sporadic sometimes. I feel like everyone's just too scared to talk game, especially with these 2 nominees. The whole time they're like, I like both of them. I like both of them. They're cool. I'm leaning towards Kevin. It's like, come on. But it is week 1. You get those conversations where it's just whatever. But Kevin, Kaser, rooting for you. It's not looking cute. It's not looking cute. What do we do? What do we do, Kaser? How do we get these allies on your side? I think HOH would get his allies. I think Nicole A would run him back to him. He would definitely, I think, have that. I think Ian, I don't know. He's not I don't know. I think if he won HOH, though, he would get people on his side. I think if he won, he would have a higher chance of getting Davon and Bailey on his side, even though my girl Davon, she's I think going to the wrong side that are gonna cut her off very quickly. So I don't know. Okay, we've been talking so much. Thank you. I just want to pause real quick and say thank you so much for watching this. We've been talking a lot, and I really appreciate it. We're almost done here. Number 4 for me is Tyler. Tyler is one of my favorite. He probably is my favorite male player. One of my favorite male players of all time. But number 4 is Tyler. He is playing very differently, and I'm actually very excited to see it because I think he realized this is All-Stars. I'm not dealing with clueless people like the Hive or Faute. So he's taking a back seat. However, he is a chill, cool, white dude. So he has his group, and I think they're going to ride with him. It looked like they weren't really trusting Tyler, but now he had a talk with Cody last night, and it looks like they're kind of making better men's together, and they're kind of like, let's go after these people together. However, let's keep it real. Tyler is still doing the Tyler thing where if someone comes up to him, or if he comes up to someone, they're of course going to be like, we're working together, right? And Tyler's like, yes, dude, I would never backstab you. It's us to the end. He is like pulling it out. And I honestly thought he would have been in way bigger trouble. I really did. But people are like, focused on, he's kind of lucky Janelle and Kaser are there. He is, because, they're focused on that big target instead. So I am a little concerned for him, though, because it seems like he's not vibing with the big group that he has been wrangled into. But because he made a good point yesterday where it's like, okay, if we're going to do this alliance, we need to have a meeting and just spill everything together. That's what Level 6 did. When we met together for the first time, we just spilled all our information together. And that's when it's a genuine alliance. So I kind of do hope they do, it's kind of essential that those 6 come together at one point. Cody has the HOH room, you could do it. You could do it today. I'm just saying. And then I could see it too, where they all come together, and then the moment Memphis leaves, they're like, he's the first boot out of us 6, right? They're like, But Tyler's gonna Tyler. He's blowing smoke up everyone's asses, and he's very he has the same script every time. He's like, let's go. I'm down 100%. I'm not going to leave you. We got this. You and me. How do you guys not realize that is Tyler? He said that to everyone in 20. And then he went out. So, I don't know. But he's good. He's lucky he has bigger targets going on right now. And he's making amends. He's very nice. He can get along with everyone. That's the other thing, too. He kind of reminds me of Cody. I think they're playing similar games, but I think Tyler's more stealthy. He's more stealthy and he's more cutthroat, I feel like, than Cody. But this is All-Stars. They're playing differently. Okay, so at number 3, it kind of hurts me to say this. She's usually my number 1 girl. Honestly, personally, on a personal level, she's my number 1. But I have to dock her to number 3, and it is Davon. When I tell you, if Davon wins an HOH, wins a veto, or even wins the whole game, we're standing. We are celebrating. Because I root for something about Davon. You just root for her so hard. You do. However, some people like to clock her because she's kind of starting to play the same game she did the last 2 times, which was unsuccessfully. She's starting to get bad reads of the house. She's starting to saying the wrong things, and they haven't really solidified which way to go. But I think that's a good position. I think her and Bailey will jump a ship once they know for sure that it's going to work for them. So maybe it's best that they kind of lay off a little bit. But I think everyone wants them just to be like, oh, and we have the 2 black girls, so we're not problematic. That's kind of how I feel. That's a little tinfoil, but that's just how I feel. I'm glad she has Bailey. If Bailey wins comps, we're good. We're going to eat. But Daily, Davon, look at me. Please, if you win 1 comp, if we could see Davon in the win comp books, that's all really I want right now. Please, don't go home. Pre-jury, no comp wins. It would break my heart. So, she's just so personal. But she said on day 2, hey, I'm going to do it different. She just said to people, I'm doing this differently. I'm going to build relationships. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to listen before I go start game talk and going crazy. So I really hope she stays like that. She's very easy to talk to. She's very charismatic. And it's just game talk. It's kind of like a little off day. A little off. Come back, baby. So I do. And she was talking crap about Janelle. It's like, guys. There's so much potential right here. You could do one side, another side. 8, go at it. But instead, it's more 8 and then 0 people. It's kind of more like 12, but within the 12, there's 8. Within the 8, there's 4. Within the 4, there's 2. Come on! You're just making it look obvious who's going home next. And it's it's boring. This is All-Stars. You guys need to, go for it. So, Davon, love you, girl. You got some bad reads. I hope you position in the right side of the house. You know, I feel like if Kaser wins HOH, Davon and Bailey, scoop, boop, on that side, easily. Number 2, I have Janelle. I'm a white gay. I stand Janelle, period. I root for her. I want Janelle to win 7 HOHs. I want her to win 45 vetoes this season. I want her to win the whole season because it does seem like this is her last hurrah. However, she's playing really well. She is. It's just no one wants to work with her. Nobody does. And Janelle, she's never been the type to open up and be more vulnerable with people. Maybe she has to with this cast. Maybe she does. She needs to find a way to show that she's not a threat. I think she should play up that 14 didn't go too cute for her. So, Janelle, baby, I love you, girl. Love you down. You have really good reads on the house. You say really funny stuff. She's campaigning for Keisha to stay, but it's not gonna happen. Especially if Kaser shut it down. It's not gonna happen. But come on, I really want to see her just bring the Janelle out. I really do. And the star costume has been funny on her. It really has. She really does not like it. I do see her a lot not being in the costume. But, at least you're safe, baby. At least you're safe. Because, I talked a lot about Janelle already. So let me think. Yeah, Janelle is just... Oh my God, she is the most... I control F my notes, and she's by far the most named written down on my notes. But I feel like she's open to work with anybody. Because, guys, she's loyal. She's loyal. I don't know. And then finally, the number 1 rank. Some of the girls are not going to be happy with me, but my number 1 house guest right now is Danny Donato. It is. The big reason why is I watched her interview with E.T. before going in the house, and she said, I'm willing to cut anyone's throat. I'm ready to, I want to win. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And I've been noticing the girl. She has been clicking. She has been talking, and she's very forcibly asking game questions to people. She's very like, what do you think? She takes the info, chews it, and she spits out a little info for the other girls. But she makes it look like it's big info. She's very adamant about working. She's ready to play. I can tell. And you know what? I think she is gonna be loyal to these core 4. She will cut them off, though. Like, if there's a moment she needs to, she will not hesitate. She will not. And she's playing differently because she said, 8 and 13, she had to fight. She had to fight her way to stay alive all the time. And this time, she just wants to be on the right side. I don't blame the girl. I really don't. But she will be. I think, though, if she plays too dangerously, she plays too close to the sun, they're going to realize, oh, she is a snake and a rat. And she can't let that be revealed too quickly. She cannot. On the personal side, though, she's very outspoken. I kind of like that she is. She's very opinionated and stands her own ground. But she makes it look like everyone is cool with Danny. She talks with Janelle on game. And, like, that's really nice to see. But, of course, Danny is not actually with Janelle, which is sad. But she saw Cody had HOH, and she's like, let me take that power, thank you. And I feel like whoever is HOH, she's going to get some kind of information out of them. I do think that. And I want to see the comp beast out of her, too. I would not be mad to see her win, like, all the vetoes, some HOHs, too. So, Danny, I really loved in 8, and I really loved her in 13, because she was against the people I didn't like. So, we stand. And she was the only, like, good player from her side of the house in 13. So, I do root for her very hard, and she just does a lot of conversations. Give me some info, and she's leaving her 2-year-old, I think, and I think she really wants to lay it all on the floor. She is a very emotional person, I feel like, just her nature, so maybe we might see her crack a little bit, but maybe it'll just be crack over missing her daughter, and she could make bonds with that. I feel like she is kind of a jack of all trades. She can work with OGs, make it look like she's working with OGs, but she can work with these young, pretty people too. So, Danny is my number 1 girl right now. Does she need HOH? No. I think she's going to downplay it. I think she might throw it a little bit. I think she's not going to really try until she realizes, oh, people know I'm a snake. Oopsie. So, we will see. I mean, because she just had that pep talk with Nicole, and I'm like, dude, I would love to see you just blindside Nicole, bruh. I would love it. So that is my ranking of the house guest week 1, and that is my dish. Like I said, Kaser for HOH. Honestly, Davon for anything, literally anything. The most disappointing thing that would happen next week is if Janelle or Kaser goes home week 2. Be so sad. Be so disappointed. I think the person, I don't know. I want to see a big person go, though. I kind of want to see, like, I can see Memphis going home at any moment, too. Because I can see the other side I could see someone, maybe the outsider, get HOH, put up Memphis, and then the core 4, and even the unusual suspects can be like, we don't really need Memphis. Bye. If he's next to another unusual suspect. Okay. I have laid it on the floor. Overall, thank you guys so much for checking out my dish on this week. Let me know what you guys think of the week so far. Who are you rooting for? Who are you not rooting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can always chat on Wednesdays. Spill session on Big Brother 22. Make sure you check out my premiere. I also do a lot of Animal Crossing videos. I recently ranked all of the flowers. Very exciting. And lastly, make sure you hit me up, especially for Big Brother, on my social media. And I'll see you guys next time for more Big Brother and pop culture tea.